All right.
Nazare.
So on our sixth day, we got up early and started to drive towards Porto. And we just planned to stop in a few towns on the way to Porto. And our first stop was Sintra to go see the castle, Pinas Castle, I believe it was called. And it's on the largest, I guess, nature preserve or state park in Portugal, or the second largest. It's either the largest or the second largest. So we got there and it was a lot. That's the one with all the rooms that we were like on a tour.
Yeah, well, and it was great. It's so super organized. You had to buy an entrance ahead of time because so many people come to visit. And I think our time was 10 o'clock, but we had to get there early to make sure we got up the hill to the park.
All
and then you
right.
walk around, like you have to walk up to the actual castle because it's just huge. We had fun exploring, walking all the different trails around the castle, and then the castle itself is huge.
Yeah, tons of great views and just beautiful colors and architecture. Um, yeah, but it was a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like we spent a lot of time there.
A couple hours.
Yeah. So then we drove north, maybe an hour. I think we drove an hour and stopped, drove an hour, stopped, drove an hour, stopped. But our second stop was Obidos. Is that what this is?
If this is Obidos, I thought we went to Obidos on the way home.
Maybe.
But maybe we went to Obidos on the way there.
No, this is it.
So this video is.
Yes. So Obidos is basically a city inside castle walls. And I think we went in the back way. I'm not really sure. We just followed a map and we ended up on the back side. And it looked like they were doing construction for like a festival or something at the time. So they were just getting prepared and building stuff for the festival.
Mm-hmm.
But once you went through that area, you ended up like on the town, the main street of the town, which is just like a walking street with lots of shops and food and just real pretty, real old, filled with tourists. It didn't feel too touristy though.
Yeah, that's how I felt about a lot of places in Portugal, though. Like, you were in a Disneyland area, but it was so authentic because people still are living there and doing life, but people just come in and enjoy their life with them. So there's like so many tourists, but this is really their town and they're living there. And that was a fun town, and we found that little cafe on the tiny side street and sat outside and ate, and that was yummy.
We didn't want to eat on the main strip, so we went back through the town looking for some place to eat, and we found a pretty good place. I had some delicious food. There's a really old church there. And then right across the street from the church was, I guess, the chapel, which had sarcophagi in there of the, I think it was the architect that built the church, and maybe one of the first priests there. There was 2 or 3 sarcophaguses. But it was really pretty. It was really old. It's always fun to see old stuff. So we just walked through that town for a little bit. And once we had enough, we got back in the car and drove some more. And then our next stop was is Nazare. Nazare is famous for its big waves and big wave surfers. So we got there and we went to the beach first, and we thought we were gonna get in the water at least, but there, like every 100 yards or maybe every 50 yards, there's a lifeguard standing at the edge of the water, and they wouldn't let you in because they said it was too dangerous because the waves were so big. And it was really loud. I mean, it was amazing to see the power of nature.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful beach.
Yeah, and there were lots of people on it still, even though you couldn't get in the water. And every few minutes you could hear the lifeguards whistling at people, because people would keep trying to get into the water. So we walked the length of the beach and came back, and you could see like the old town of Nazare up on the cliff. So we drove up there all the way down to the end of the cliff where the lighthouse was, and down at the end of that there's the big wave surfer museum. Oh, and on the way there we looked back in the water and they were rescuing somebody in the water because somebody had gotten in and obviously got sucked out. It was dangerous. There was a reason for the lifeguards. But we took a nice long walk down to the end of the cliff. The cliffs were really high. It was higher than I thought. But down at the end is the old, I guess, fort, or I don't know what you would call it. It's a museum now.
That was a lighthouse.
Yeah. But I don't think it's used anymore.
No.
And so we walked down there and saw, we didn't see big waves because it wasn't big wave season.
On the opposite side of the Nazare beach, I mean, I don't know what that area is called. There's another beach.
Oh yeah, on the other side of the
Other
cliff.
side of the cliff.
Yeah, there was a ton of beautiful beach all up and down there. It was super windy up there at the top. So we got to go on top of the building and we took pictures there. And just great views of the city and everything around. It was really beautiful. So we finally made it to Porto. It was a long day of driving, so we probably got there around 5 or 6. It was starting to be evening time.
And Frank had reserved a hostel right in the center of town. And we didn't know about parking situation. Remember that? Remember you were like, just have to drive around and hope we can park somewhere. And we got there.
Oh yeah, we drove around and
we had to go around the block a couple
times.
times.
We passed the place and we ended up parking right in front of a restaurant, and we weren't sure if we were allowed to park there and if our car would be there in the end, but we just ended up parking there anyways and just hoping it would be there the next 2 days, because we stayed 2 days there. We didn't even check on the car until it was time to leave, so it was a surprise to us whether it would be there or not. But we got to the hostel there and it was pretty nice, I thought.
It was very nice. Clean and great common areas, living area downstairs, shared kitchen, dining, and then an outdoor patio. And then on each floor there were rooms that were private rooms, and then a shared bathroom is what our option was. And so it's like we had this hallway with a shower and a bathroom, and then the hall, each person could go into their bedrooms. And we didn't really ever see or hear of the person that stayed next to us. It was a great option. worked out well.
Mm-hmm. And then I think we did go out for dinner that evening. I'm not sure where we ate again. But we got to bed early that evening because we had to wake up real early the next morning for our trip. We had a trip scheduled to go on a wine tasting for the next morning, and we had to be at the pickup spot like at 8 or 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, but it was a good day. I hate driving, but I really enjoy driving in Portugal. The streets are amazing. Like, it's fun to drive there. Um,
Amazing as in cobblestone and the width of a car and a half, it feels like.
it's fun. It's like being a video game when you're in the town, and then when you're on the freeways, they're just so pristine, clean, and nice. Um, it's just fun to drive. So, and we stopped a lot too, which was fun. We weren't in a hurry to get where we were going. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was just a long day of driving. We saw a lot. And yeah.
Yep.
We were tired. That was.
I do remember we looked out the window and we were like, oh, that looks like good food, that pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that looks like good food, that Thai or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, I think we're good. We just went to bed.
Oh, yeah. That does sound like that happened.
Yep. We knew we were going to eat plenty the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that was our day 6.